All right, doing a landscape consult for a customer. One of the main problems, the reason why I called, is there's a lot of slope on their yard going this way. It's lower over here, higher over here. Okay, the way that they built this pad and all, the water does not slope away from the house. It actually slopes straight to the house. The house doesn't have gutters or anything, and I'm not a real big fan of gutters anyway. So my recommendation for this, to fix a lot of different problems and to make their yard more or less the way they're wanting it to be, is to pour concrete approximately 4 feet off of the foundation right here and do a sidewalk all the way to their existing patio. There's a gate approximately right here. Go ahead and pour concrete to that sidewalk. It's going to give you a place to go, obviously, on the sidewalk to the gate. So this not only is going to have a function to keep water from coming off this ridge line and splashing in the dirt right here and getting your mortar wet and washing away, eroding the soil and all, but you can actually pour this up kind of high on the brick and slope it away and give it a approximately like 2 inches above the existing grade right here whenever it's finished, so that when water runs through the yard right here, it'll hit the concrete and then it'll run this way and it'll run around the patio. Any water that hits on this concrete is going to slope away and go into the yard and then go up against the concrete here and go away. So there's no way that any water is ever going to be really going up against that house unless it's, just raining sideways, which is what we're definitely wanting to do. You can move the sprinkler heads out to the edge of this, and sprinkler coverage will be easy because it's on a straight line. You won't have to worry about overspray on the bricks and the windows and all like you would otherwise. There's just another reason why this is, a good option for this. Their patio right here, you can't see it very good in this picture because it's in the shade. It goes and actually steps down right here. And there's about a 2-inch drop right here on this patio. It's pavers, and I believe that they laid these pavers on a sand base and they used polymer sand. So this is relatively low. It's actually about the same elevation, if not even lower than the yard. Again, this all slopes across here. There's kind of a little short wall on the back side of a grill right here. They're actually wanting to get rid of that anyway, which I agree is a good idea. There's a spot right here that just catches water and holds water right here. You have a lot of roof and slope running this way and just dumping water out onto this patio, and then running into this low spot and just holding water right here. So what I recommend right here is I would pull up all these pavers right here and get rid of them. The pavers that are underneath this, they're on top of an existing concrete patio. They're in pretty good shape. I don't mind them. The increased height and elevation and all of those pavers on the patio, it kind of actually helps make it a little bit safer and helps it keep from getting flooded. So I would keep that. I would extend this patio back out pretty much to the same shape that it was. The amount of space that was in there is a pretty decent amount of space. If they wanted to go ahead and go out a little bit more, I might go another 2 or 3 feet maybe at the most, just to make that second level a little bit bigger. And then I would come this way and I would come back in, and there's an area right here. The client obviously knows exactly how this is, so people viewing aren't going to be able to see this very good, but the house, they actually put their own retaining wall right up against the house. It sticks out about 3 feet and just wraps around the house, and it's about 2 feet tall. It keeps the water and all from going up against their house and causing drainage issues and stuff that they had before. It kind of helps fix that. And that wall filled with gravel and stuff like they did, there's nothing wrong with that. I would definitely leave it there. It looks just fine the way it is. There's an existing like brick path that goes through here that's really small. There's another existing brick path that goes to the gate that's right in here somewhere. And it's kind of like a single course of brick. So this area right in here is grass right now, and it's shaded out by this tree right here. I think it's a Chinese pistache. So the Bermuda grass won't grow in this area right here because of the shade. They talked about planting fescue in this area and another area that has shade. I would recommend coming pretty much right in the middle of this tree, coming out and either doing a straight line or a curved line and actually make a bed for this tree. And then do a sidewalk up against this barn and go all the way to the fence. Okay, so all of this area right here would now be concrete, leaving a bed out for this tree, and do any planting you want. Leave that out and then pour concrete in this whole entire area. They have drainage issues that are even in this area off this barn because it's same thing. It runs off this barn, hits right here, erodes the ground, and then makes a muddy mess and goes this way. And there's really not very many good options for plants and different things to fix this in Lubbock, Texas, where we're at. So I would pour concrete right here the same way, about 4 feet off, sidewalk, straight out here. I would get rid of this brick walk. There's just no reason to have this at all. The gate is right here. I recommend moving the gate to over here. Their dumpster is actually down this way, farther down the alley, closer to this gate right here anyway. So now you've opened up this area right here to be able to play soccer and catch and ball and be able to run around and do stuff in this whole area. So, you know, a lot of times people would have replaced this little brick path with a real sidewalk, but I think it'd be a lot better to get rid of this and move it over here. One of the other issues on this is there's a water well that's in between this shed and this barn. They'd done some work over here. As you can see in this picture, there was kind of something right here and they got rid of it already, and it's just, there's nothing over here right now. So they're gonna move this shed to over here. Recommend putting a double gate right here whenever they replace this fence, which they're planning on doing. Putting a double gate right here because you're gonna need to be able to get to this wellhead right here to pull it and service it. And trust me, it can and will, you know, have a problem at some point, and you want it to be as easy to access as possible. Here they have a septic system that the tank is somewhere right around in this area. There was an apple tree right here planted pretty close to right on top of the septic tank, and I personally would recommend just getting rid of that apple tree. I would rather get rid of it while it's relatively small and it's not causing any major problems of this yet before it does. I'd get rid of that. All of this stuff right here is gone already. They've already gotten rid of all this. There is a neighbor has a shop right here, and it's pretty tall. It's a little bit of an eyesore when you're in the backyard and on this patio and all looking back this way. So there is an existing locust tree right here that's pretty good size. There is an existing golden rain tree right here. And there is an existing red oak that's somewhere right in here. Okay, I would recommend planting a cedar elm right here. And its canopy, when it gets up, there's a fence right here. They'll either do a 7 or 8 foot fence. Whenever that canopy gets up above this fence right here, it's going to block this shop fairly well. It's going to be kind of the easiest, cheapest possible way to kind of give you some more visual barrier to this, you know, barn and all, without having to build some huge structure and do all kinds of things that would require a lot more work than this tree. This area over here has grass in a really narrow, awkward area. This is all going to be part of this concrete, and just make sure the forms are set on this barn as high as possible. Have them slope away from the building, and there's going to need to be a low point in this concrete that runs through here, because everything slopes this way. It all slopes out this way. This whole yard, slopes across this way and that way. So when they set forms, you want to be high by the house, high by the barn, and you want to have your low point in the middle of the sidewalk, essentially, and you're going to have a valley that runs through here on your concrete that's going to get this water out of here, put it on the driveway, and let it just go out. And I think that's the main thing.